Hello, this is a Bechstein Model A grand piano, made in about 1910, sorry, and it's a piano. I'm trying to assess it to see what sort of work needs doing on it. Well, there's one particular task that often happens on grand pianos, and that is the leads expand, and if we press these down we can see that these two keys are touching each other, and the leads are touching. Basically they've expanded and causing stickiness. Now that's caused by the oxidisation in the lead. We'll just have a look at that to see how extensive it is. So now let's have a look at the keys and see what's the problem. So there, it's very clear, lead's oxidised and the keys are touching each other, as you can see clearly there. Let's see how extensive it is. So that's just going further up the keyboard. There aren't so many leads in the top there, so let's have a look further down. Here we are, there again. So it's basically, there we are again, all the keys it seems that have leads in, all the leads have oxidised. We'll have a look at the dampers as well, because when they oxidise in the keys, very often oxidise in the dampers too, but I think we can see there that every single one is oxidised. So what we normally do is we actually replace the leads. I'll show you what we do, because we're doing one at the moment. So this is the process. We've taken the leads out and now we're plugging the holes, because the leads that we've got are slightly different size, so we need to plug these holes and then refit new leads. It's, as you can see, relatively time consuming job unfortunately, but if we leave the leads in, they're oxidised, they tend to continue to oxidise and the keys split. So this is the same keyboard example of how the lead can split the keys, and you can say that it has to be plugged really, because it's got to be strengthened again before new leads put in. And anyway, the leads that we've got unfortunately aren't quite the same size, so there's one that's been plugged here, a couple that need plugging still. So a long job, but obviously if it's a really high quality piano, it's really worth doing and essential to do in the long run. I do apologise, these holes are not waiting to be plugged, I've been informed, but they're waiting to have leads put in them. So, and then the whole keyboard's got to be weighted, so we want to get the right touch as good as we possibly can. On this piano we're assessing, you can see it's already split this bottom key. Now obviously when we take the keys out we're going to find several more split, I'm pretty sure. Now looking inside at the dampers, and sure enough you can see the leads are split there. Sorry, I beg your pardon, they're oxidised, and we'll be splitting the dampers soon. If you look at them, looks as like we're just about moving without touching each other at the moment. So that's not currently a problem, but when we're doing the whole piano, of course we do these. If it's our stock piano we certainly would. So if your pianos, there's two that are nearly touching each other I think. If your piano's been in damp, and then that's often the cause, or next to the sea. Of course pianos have got a history to them, so we don't know why this has happened, and the client doesn't really know why this has happened, but it has happened, and we can certainly sort that, and it's best to replace them with new ones, and then we can lacquer over them as well to stop them oxidising. I also noticed that the centre rail's had some liquid put on it, liquid lubricant. We don't use liquid lubricant in the centre rail, we only use dry lubricant, so we're going to check that obviously at the same time to make sure it's lubricated, and then afterwards weight the keyboard and do fine regulation. This is a very fine Model A Bechstein, and been well restored, with a rich bass as you can hear, so it has a lot of potential. It does need voicing and various other things too, but it sings in there. Sorry, they're sticking to each other, but you can hear the tone of it round throughout is excellent, and it's one of our favourite models, so well worth doing.